Can your lock do this? Or even this? I don't think so. Typical keypad entry is so 2010. The future is here, and the Thorbolt X1 Smart Lock has the latest and greatest technology to be one of the most secure deadbolts for your home. What do I mean? Well, the Thorbolt X1 Smart Lock has the latest thread compatibility to work with Apple HomeKit or thread-supported devices, as well as several unlocking methods like a traditional key, an app, your PIN code, or fingerprint. It's compatible with most standard deadbolts in Canada and the US and fits a variety of door thicknesses. I'll take you through what we have in the box, my installation procedure, which only took me about 15 minutes in total, and what I like and dislike about the Thorbolt X1 Smart Lock. And spoiler alert, one of my favorite things about this lock is the price, currently at 120 USD. And if you use my link in the description down below, you can get the best and current prices on Amazon for this lock. In the box, we have the Thorbolt X1 Smart Lock itself, our mounting hardware kit, a set of 2 keys, our user manual, and an important door marking template. I'll show you how to use this soon. Design-wise, this lock is very solid and heavy, and you can tell a lot of thought was put into the design. It's primarily composed of a sturdy plastic and metal, and I love the finish and modern look of the lock itself. The outside unit has the fingerprint reader along with a closed compartment that reveals the area for your manual key, and the best part, a USB-C port for emergency entry if your batteries somehow fail. I love that all of my smart locks in my home have this ability, and I would highly recommend getting locks that provide this, as sometimes you might forget to change the batteries until it's too late, and having that emergency power backup just gives you that extra peace of mind. On both ends of the lock, we have some high quality rubber insulation to protect the lock from the elements. We have a single wire that will run to the other end of the lock, which goes on the inside of the door. This portion of the lock contains the brains of the system and has the manual lock and unlock latch, which is smooth to turn. We also have the circuit board inside and our battery cover that houses the 8 AA batteries, and finally a reset button inside. The cover also has our HomeKit code so that we can easily add it to our Apple Home. So let's get started with the install. So the first thing we're going to do is measure the size of the door. This sizing kit that is included allows you to determine if your door is compatible. Most doors in the US and Canada are standard, so you shouldn't have any issues. If it doesn't fit, you'd want to contact the company to see what your options are. Next, we'll remove the old deadbolt from the door. The sizing kit will tell you if the existing borehole works for the new lock. In my case, it was a perfect fit. It also allows you to check what you need to adjust the new back set to. It's usually either 60 or 70 millimeters. In my case, I just had to extend the back set to 70, which is just a turn and pull. Now that the back set fits perfectly and is centered with the borehole, I'm just going to make sure that the door closes smoothly. Now, in some instances, your door and door jamb might be really tight, which will result in the back plate preventing you from closing the door. You'd have to chip down an indentation into the door so that the back plate is flush, but in my case, I didn't have to do that. The door was able to close smoothly. I did have to drill new holes to get into the door since the old back set didn't need to be screwed in. That was fairly simple to do. Once the back set is installed, just ensure that it is facing the right direction indicated by the up arrow. Now it's time to put the outdoor side of the lock. There's one wire here that you should keep in mind because it will run through the door itself. Once you confirm that the outdoor portion of the lock is flush with the door and the rubber lining isn't folded but flat between the door and the lock, you can grab this metal mounting plate and attach it to the back side of the door, which will be used to grip the lock in place. Be sure to thread the wire through the hole on the back plate so that it doesn't snag when the lock is functioning. The 2 screws will go through the mounting plate and can be screwed into the outdoor portion of the lock. One thing to note is never use a power drill to screw into the lock itself. I would just use a hand screwdriver so that you don't rip any threading. There we go. Everything is flush to the door, no gaps. Finally, we can attach the cable to the other side of the lock and mount it to the back plate using the provided screws. It's honestly that easy. Time to throw in our 8 AA batteries and rotate the deadbolt a couple of times while the door is opened, as well as use the key while the door is closed to test out that the lock is functioning smoothly. You should be able to close the door and unlock and lock without much friction. Alright, we're ready to download the app and get this lock set up in HomeKit. The SleekPoint app can be downloaded through the App Store, and once I opened it, I registered and was taken to the main screen. If you want to add this to HomeKit, you'll need to allow permissions for SleekPoint to access home data. Now that I'm on the main screen, I can add a device, choose my Thorbolt X1, and it will give me detailed instructions on how to pair it. All you really need to do is go over to your lock, remove the battery cover, and there should be a reset button that you can hold down for 5 seconds. Once you hear the beep, just hit confirm. The lock is automatically picked up, and you can now add it to HomeKit by scanning your unique HomeKit code on the battery cover. Adding it to HomeKit was seamless and super quick, and my home key was automatically added to my digital wallet and also gave me an opportunity to set a numeric passcode. Once added to HomeKit, you will see the lock in SleekPoint. Honestly, the app is great, but with all smart devices that I have, I only use it rarely when I need to do firmware updates, since HomeKit lets me do pretty much everything else I need, including key sharing. I'll give you a quick overview of the app regardless. When you select the lock, you can quickly lock and unlock from the app using the button. Although the app was fast and responsive, I gotta say, using it through HomeKit was almost instantaneous, and communicating with the lock through Thread is a game changer. So the app gives you the ability to manage the access and set up users. Let's set up a test user to show you. We have 3 options to define access. Unlimited enables the user to have access to the lock at all times. Limited gives you the option to set specific days or times, which is super useful for guests or pet sitters. And one time can obviously be used only once. I love that the lock gives you that flexibility. Let's choose unlimited. We have the option to enter the name of the user, a specific passcode. Obviously, there's no rule for the passcode and it can be any number of digits. And then a tag so you know which locks they have access to if you have multiple in the house. Once the PIN is added, you can now set a fingerprint for the user. Multiple fingers can be stored, which is great. We'll go ahead and label the first one. Adding your print would require multiple touches, and the app tells you exactly how to place your finger so that it gets the best read. Honestly, after inputting my thumb and trying it out, it was instant. The lock also continues to learn your finger over time once the initial setup is done, which is awesome. Once my fingerprint was added, I tested the lock and it unlocked without issues. Keypad entry was also quite similar, and the keypad automatically lights up when it detects touch. Our alternate unlocking method of using our iPhone was flawless every time. You simply need to tap your phone, or if you want, you can have it authenticate through Face ID every time you need to unlock. This is honestly much safer than a physical key because those don't have extra layers of security or the ability to remove the key remotely, something that Apple devices can easily do. So jumping into the lock itself on the app, we have 3 options. We can view the activity, so you can see when your lock was accessed and by whom. You can manage the access itself, so add or remove users, and then you can calibrate the lock. The lock settings page gives you a lot of options to work with, particularly setting up HomeKit automation scenes where you can enable or disable auto lock. You can also choose the side of the door that your lock is on. You have an auto lock timer that you can set right within the app itself, which I have enabled. And a feature I particularly like, the ability to create a secure lockdown if there are multiple attempts. This is very open to configuration and something I don't see on many other locks. You can also change the keypad sensitivity, and because it's a digital keypad, you can choose the timer for when the keypad disappears if no input is detected. Other settings include the option to turn off power to certain unlocking features such as Apple HomeKit, keypad, or even the fingerprint sensor. I really appreciate that option. You'll be able to see battery level, toggle feedback sounds, and also check your connectivity method and firmware. So a lot of options within the app. The sidebar in the app allows you to invite others to download and have access to the lock, but this again is something that can be also done in HomeKit. Now, what do I think of the Thorbolt X1 Smart Lock? It's now my favorite smart lock in the house. It's sleek, modern, and very robust with various ways to unlock my door. I love being able to use my Apple Wallet to quickly unlock my door, and all of my automations within HomeKit allow me to use this lock in the ecosystem. With Thread support, it's incredibly fast to unlock with minimal delay, and this lock will last you years beyond most smart locks out there, and also give you that secure peace of mind so that only you can gain access into your home. The price also makes this one of the best smart locks around, even better than the Aqara smart lock that I have on my front door. Now, using the link in the description will get you the best price on Amazon, and believe me when I say this, you will want to outfit all the doors in your house with the Thorbolt X1. I hope this review was helpful. My name is J.I. Thank you for watching, and thank you for kicking it with me.